made a board game, and it's not in this box. It's in this box. And today we're going to be discussing that board game because I want to talk about it. So here's the exact same box and the exact same situation. I just don't want to put everything on that box because it kind of hurt my back a little bit to try and work around the fact that the camera is a little bit too short and working around all that camera angles and stuff like that. So I'm going to try and hold everything instead, which probably I'm going to end up regretting, but I digress. Let's get right into it. I did this exact same thing last time too. I didn't unpack everything before I got started. I regret everything. So this is that board game. This is that board. This board right here. The layout may or may not be familiar to you. The game overall may or may not be familiar to you. It depends on how long you've been on the channel and how much you know about some of the videos that I used to make. Now, one of the earliest Ponytown videos that I ever made was I made a board game in Ponytown. Now that's this video right here. It looks like a mess, but it's actually a board game. I've created a board game in Ponytown. Now this video right here is essentially explaining the rules of this exact same game. However, some of the rules are a little bit different. Even in that same video, even in the video I just showed you, the rules kind of changed here and there. Literally within the video, like right after I finished the video, right as I was uploading it or doing this or doing that, there was things that have changed. So there's been a handful of changes since then, but this game was originally made in Ponytown, and that's just something I just kind of want to mention right off the bat because it goes back to something I said in the original Ponytown, I made a board game in Ponytown video, where I mentioned that I hope this inspires you to make a board game in Ponytown or show you the potential that Ponytown has and everything like that. And this kind of goes into that because of Ponytown, I actually went through with this whole process and actually made a physical board game that I'm literally holding in my hands right now, and that's incredible to me. And this literally would not have happened if Ponytown didn't exist because, I mean, I would not have pushed myself to make another board game and one that could that I actually had the means to create through GameCraft and everything like that. So that's this game, and so I kind of want to thank Ponytown before I really thank anyone, but I also want to thank the people that played this game with me within Ponytown and stuff like that. I've played this game a handful of times in Ponytown. It's a lot of fun. Me and my friends just have a lot of fun with this. We kind of mess around and stuff like that. That being said, I do want to explain some of the rules because, like I said earlier, the rules kind of have changed and stuff like that. I'm not going to go through all the rules, and I'm not going to go super in depth with the game itself because not only have I kind of technically made a video on this, but also I don't want to stretch this video on super long, and the game comes with a booklet and stuff like that. So the rules of the game are pretty simple. So the idea that the game is that you're going to move along the board and everything like that. I don't know if I did that right. You're going to move along the board and stuff like that, trying to land on these orange cubes so that you then can collect a real physical orange cube in the real world. There's a whole bag of these orange cubes that the game comes with, so that you shouldn't be running out anytime soon. So as you and your friend go across the board, doing your things, doing your wonderful things, trying to collect these orange cubes, when you land on a space that has an orange cube, you do not collect that orange cube immediately. In fact, you just hold on to the orange cube. You just hold on to it. It becomes sort of in your inventory, so to speak. The only way to actually score after you collect these is to land on a dragon head, one of these dragon head symbol things. Once you land on any of those, you're able to then deposit what you're holding in your inventory into your score, and then your score actually starts counting up. The score limit, according to the rules, is 21, but honestly, feel free to set that score to whatever you want. Maybe you want to set it to 10, maybe you want to set it to like some kind of sudden death kind of thing where whoever gets score first wins or whatever, or once you get scored, you're out, and then the next person gets scored, they're out, and you determine who has the most score after that. There's kind of different ways to play and stuff like that, and that's another thing that's really fun about this game. But anyway, you're going to deposit your score once you land on a dragon, and essentially that's basically how you play the game and how you're supposed to win. Now each of these little symbols have something different. These portal looking things, the green, blue, and red thing, these are teleporters. If you land on a blue space, you have to move to the other blue space. If you land on a red space, you have to move to the other red space. If you land on a green space, you have to move over to the other green space, and vice versa, with all of them, of course. This has been a rule since literally the very beginning, but I wanted to mention that. There's, of course, a lose a turn space. surrounded in lava. Ooh, spooky. And then there's a shield. Now, some of you may or may not know this, but in the original Ponytown version of the game, this was a fruit box, and the fruit made you invulnerable. In this game, you're just going to collect a invincibility card, a little invulnerability card, and essentially it works exactly the same as it did in the original game. Basically, if something happens to you, if you land on a teleporter, or if someone's trying to steal your points, or if you land on a lose a turn space or something like that, you can use your invincibility card, get rid of that invincibility card, and say, nope, that didn't actually happen, and avert that whole thing, negate the entire situation. Now, I mentioned stealing points, and that's because stealing points is actually possible in the game. You can also swap places with other characters, and the way to do that is to land on this little mirror-like space, little blue mirror portal-looking thing. I don't know how to describe it. It's technically officially a mirror, but essentially if you land on one of these two, it allows you to teleport to the other player and swap places with them, or it allows you to steal whatever happens to be in their held inventory. So you could choose a player and say, oh, I want to swap with that player, or if that player has like 5 of these orange cubes in their inventory and not in their score, you can steal one of those cubes that are in their inventory and put it into your inventory. That way you can then eventually deposit that score. The way it works is you're going to steal 1 cube at a time this way, but if you want to, you can kind of change the rules and make it a little bit more intense by saying, oh, I can steal all of your held inventory, but that's up to you. So yeah, essentially that's the game. The book up here in the corner is taking place of the bookshelf in the original game, which the original game, the bookshelf changed a lot, but right now it allows you to add 1 to your next roll or remove 1 from your next roll, and you can choose to do either of those or none of those. So that's the game. The game is called Greed of the Dragon. I will be leaving a link to it in the description so you can find it yourself. The game is physically as cheap as I possibly can make it. It is literally so cheap that I make almost nothing off of it. So I do hope that you at least check it out and have some fun. One more thing I want to mention, because of how cheap I had to make it, I literally could not include an entire box for the game. So you're probably going to want to hold on to the actual physical box that the game melds it, that the game comes in when it melds to you. You probably want to hold on to this box. You probably want to hold on to this box because I literally could not afford to make a box for the game itself. It literally cost $15 extra for me and like $18, $17 extra for all of you, so I decided that it would be better to just not use the box. But I did make a very wonderful looking box art. I'll show it up on screen if I still have an image of it, but essentially that's what it could have been, but I digress. It doesn't come in a box, so everything's in like a little plastic baggie. Everything's properly organized and everything like that for you, so hopefully you don't lose anything, but maybe if you have like a 10 by 10 box laying around somewhere, you can stuff it in that, or just use the the little box that it comes in. So other than that, I do hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, subscribe, share, do those wonderful things, because when you do those wonderful things, you get access to wonderful content such as this. But that's not all you get. That's not all you get. You also get to become wonderful yourself, and I think we all want that. So do those wonderful things, and until next time, stay wonderful.